minutes.
Yeah, about a 5-minute trailer.
Yeah.
So Link has pretty much traded in his boat for a train, so yay, whoopee.
Yeah.
It's more traveling. However, it does look like it's going to be significantly faster, because you don't have to worry about the wind, and, well, you're on a train. Those move fast.
Mm-hmm.
What else?
They had like some junctions where you have to sort of swipe in the direction you want to go on the tracks, which I mean looks kind of cool. But I mean, just like in Wind Waker, you're like, "Hey, I'm in a boat. This is cool," and then, "Oh shit, I'm in a boat."
Yeah,
this
I'm
is getting
just
boring.
hoping it doesn't have a stupid grid map, and you have to get here, so you can either go a horribly long distance this way and then crank a right or a left, keep going this way, or do you have to like zigzag your way through this map?
Yeah,
and so it's just looking good. They've shown. Didn't show too much. They revealed Link is the owner of this train, which is kind of odd.
Yeah, he looks like a jackass in that friggin'...
He does.
He looks like just
like
an
a
asshole.
Conductor's uniform.
Yeah,
But,
it's really
they showcased
stupid.
a weapon which creates a mini tornado, which isn't a new weapon per se. It's been in the Minish Cap for the Game Boy Advance.
Yeah, I remember that.
I can't remember too much about the one for the DS. I can't. Phantom Hourglass. I don't know if there was a weapon like that. It's kind of like the Gust Jar, I think it was called.
To me, it kind of looks like it's a reverse boomerang. Instead of bringing it towards you, it pushes it away, but you can still go and get it.
Yeah, but they had items like that in previous Zelda games. So it's not a new one. It's more of a redesigned weapon. It actually gives you an aiming, kind of like a laser sight kind of deal. It's not actually a laser, so don't freak out.
Yeah, no, but it looks like sort of like they just draw like a little bit of a directional line on the screen, and that's where the gust will go once you let go of the
They also had
stylus.
a stylus-controlled helping unit. It very much resembles a Dark Nut.
Yeah.
Kind of like a long-lasting Zelda baddie who's been it since the beginning.
Just think of a big dude in armor.
Yeah. Essentially what it is, he's got a little marker on his base, and you tap the marker with your stylus, draw it up, and he walks along that path.
Kind of like the bomb shoes in the Phantom Hourglass.
And pretty much anything he bumps into or gets within range of swinging,
just destroys.
He'll just start taking cracks at it, which the trailer actually shows a lot of a bit of a fight between Link, and I'm going to assume he's a mini-boss because he's quite large. You have to strategically, draw the line, get him to cross the path of this boss, so they tie up, and it gives Link the chance to turn around behind and actually
get the
take a swing
killing
and
strike.
actually get past his shield, armor, so on. So it looks like they're trying to add in a little bit of strategy to Zelda now, which kind of makes it a little interesting.
Zelda's always had a strategy to it. There was like, the very obvious weak points, that you'd have to go for. But in the last Zelda, it was really dumbed down. Like, it was a very easy game to play and get into, and there was strategy, but it was like really drawn out for you, and it was like, hey, go this way, and it was pushing you in this direction. But
the thing is,
I hope they bring back a little difficulty in this one.
They learned though what with Wind Waker, everyone just hated the boat.
Yeah,
like,
I actually, for the most part, liked the boat, but
you had way too much distance to cover sometimes.
Yeah.
Trying to complete some of the minor challenges to get heart pieces and that.
I liked the boat ridiculous. Up until you had to find 8 friggin' Triforce pieces, but before that you had to find the maps, and then you go around and just sunken treasure. It's like, oh god, so boring, and that really pissed me off.
Phantom Hourglass, then they kind of reduxed it where you just draw a line on the small map, and your boat follows that path, which made it so much easier because you could just draw your path, get up, walk away for a second.
Well, I mean, there are sort of pirates. Like, you had to get
to you,
into battles, and your cannon helped you, blast the shit out of those.
But you didn't have as much focus that was required.
Yeah, in Wind Waker, you basically, had to be there the entire time.
But this way they kind of changed it, and this one looks like they've even simplified it with giving you you can't turn unless there's a junction. That's it. You go whatever direction you're on.
Which means to me, which says to me that there's probably going to be a lot more battles in which people are going to try and hijack your train and stuff like that, and you're going to have to fight them off. Which would actually be pretty cool.
Like a Western Zelda now, actually.
Yeah,
even the song kind of had a Western theme. To it.
What's wrong with walking around Hyrule? Because it's impossible to just get up.
That was 20 years ago, Jeff. That was NES.
I mean, Wind Waker, Hyrule was flooded, so I guess you couldn't actually walk around it. But now, I mean, I didn't see much water in this one, so why can't I just walk? Just only
because
walk.
Now he's bored. His legs are all feeble from boating it.
Feeble? He's a young child. He's a young child. He gets scurvy out there.
He can't walk.
He's got muscular dystrophy.
Yeah.
And now he needs to sit in a train conductor's and just point and fire massive cannonballs.
But it looks like Nintendo's learning, and it's going to be much simpler, much easier to use, faster to get around, hopefully. Check it out. They haven't actually released a date for it yet.
Yeah, so we're not sure. I'm thinking probably end of this year. I'm thinking, but I mean, it's a Zelda game, so
Christmas is what I'm expecting.
yeah, they could. I mean, the thing is with Zelda games, there's always a huge amount of work and like care and love put into these games because Zelda is like Mario, bread and butter for Nintendo. So, you know, they really do put a lot of innovation and they really put a lot of polish on these games. So you could expect it to go a little bit longer than Christmas, maybe even Q1 or 2 of 2010. But what was it? When did Phantom Hourglass come out? Just a couple of years ago, or about a year ago?
Don't even remember. I never actually bought it. I only read it.
So we've been a little while without a Zelda game, except for Link's Crossbow Training on the Wii, which was a farce of a game. So, I mean, I'm sort of excited for it, but I could sort of pass on it.
Definitely going to keep an eye on it.
Yeah.
So,
but
moving on, we have Battlefield 1943 right now.
Yeah, which I wasn't too excited about to begin with, but now after watching some videos,
there's about a 10-minute trailer on Game Trailers.
Yeah.
It's actually one of the hosts from Game Trailers talking to a lead developer at GDC while he's showcasing the game to him, showing a lot of new aspects to the game. First of all, just the graphics in general. We talked about this previously when we looked at the
they look
the trailer.
Ridiculous.
Phenomenal, especially for a download game. Don't even. Fantastic.
Yeah.
They're superb. They couldn't be done any better, and especially since it's a download game for the arcade, which is seriously it's groundbreaking.
I don't know how much money this game is going to cost, but I mean, if it's $20 or under, I don't think you can beat that kind of value.
Even if it's over $20, like
I'll buy it regardless of the price.
2,400 points, or something like that.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything over that, but I don't really look very often.
Yeah, I would still buy it for 2,400 points. That's a huge deal.
This game looks fantastic.
Like, they showcased actual gameplay footage instead of just kind of look at the AI run around. Yeah,
weapons look really real.
The wheel,
Yeah,
real.
They look super real. And
aircraft, they showed a bombing run.
Yeah,
they've got a new system now, where because they're building off of the commander kind of setup that was introduced in Battlefield 2 and then 2142. You can call in airstrikes, but you have to go find a specific bunker that has a recharge time, which is probably going to be a couple minutes, give or take. So what happens is you get into this bunker, you call in the airstrikes, and you get a formation of 3 bombers, and you don't control them individually. You essentially control the lead bomber.
Yeah, and they all sort of move simultaneously.
And they all just kind of catch up, wherever you go.
It seems kind of hokey when you hear it, but when you watch it, it's like, you know what, there's really no other way that you could make this accessible to people and have it, be intuitive. Because if you had to control all 3, you'd
fumble. It would probably take
you and I would probably get used to it because, we're hardcore gamers. But if you're like just a novice gamer and you just want to, dick around for a little bit, that would be a very difficult thing to get into. So even controlling then, 1 on 2 is,
probably still have a little bit of trouble. But
yeah,
moving on, they got so they're showing that, and it actually comes into the map fairly far back, which actually gives the opposing team's fighters or fighter bombers or whatever
time to
actually intercept it. So they never really showed it in the trailer, anyone intercepting it. So you don't know if they have their own defense of some kind. They are bombers. They tend to have the turrets every hole on the plane.
I think that because they were just showcasing how the bombers worked. We didn't really see any defense on that part. Yeah,
but so it makes it fair. So you have time to get them in, line up your shots, but it also gives the opposing team time to try and get past it and get rid of them. So that's like a huge bonus right there. But what else did they show?
Well, they started carpet bombing.
Yeah,
basically they set up a carpet bomb on the beach and just like
each aircraft drops like 6 bombs or something like that.
Yeah, so you go into like this little. It reminds me of that scene from Pearl Harbor with the Japanese fighter pilots who were just like carpet bombing the.
You go through the scope that's on the bottom of the plane and you're just tracing it across the land.
And then when you find a place where you want to drop, I hit some sort of button. We're not sure what it is. And you drop it, and then it zooms way out over top. Yeah. You see all these little bombs just falling, and then massive explosions. I can't imagine what that looks like when you're down on the beach, but it would be unreal.
They showcased the Scout class. It looks like there's actually only 3 classes
thus far.
Yeah, thus far. It's probably going to be Scout, which they already showcased, your basic assault kind of class, and I'm guessing like a defensive or tank busting kind of class. So that was pretty cool there. They showed off some of the Scout's weapons. I
like the Scout.
Obviously, he has a sniper rifle, and for I guess shits and giggles, he has a katana as a Japanese Scout, as they showed. I
wish I had seen him actually use it, though. He pulls it out and then does one swipe and then turns around, some guy blasts his head off with a shotgun. So it was kind of lame, but I was like, oh man, I wanted to see him slice somebody up.
And the Scouts are, not surprisingly, stuck in ghillie suits, which might make it a little difficult. especially if you're trying to run across a runway. You know, there's a bush
Yeah.
across the runway.
People know where you are, but
So